Hi, and welcome to your next episode. I wanted to have a conversation around where I am in this midlife chapter of mine. I'd seen a post on social media and it was talking about friendships in midlife and how they can change and that it takes more effort to be a friend, nurturing friendships. There always has to be someone to organize, to get the date in the diary, but saying how that needs to be two-sided. And I commented on the thread, and it was more so an observation that life is lifing at the moment. And as much as I'm moving into this next chapter and becoming an empty nester, you're still then having to navigate relationships with friends. So I went into this year, my big 50th year, with that intention of nurturing friendships to tend to those relationships that I want to take forward with me, creating that capacity and breadth of friendship for when I'm going to have more time. And I keep thinking about moving into the autumn and having all of this time that I'm not going to know what to do with myself. But there's still things that I want to do for myself. So I want to give some time to my own hobbies, to nurture my own interests outside of work, outside of family, and do something for me. And that's also outside of friendship and relationships as well. It's something just for me. But in doing that, that's then taking time from something else. And where's that going to come from? And I think we beat ourselves up about being everything or trying to do everything. Are we doing too much? Because sometimes I get so exhausted and fatigued with trying to nurture these relationships or remembering to text. I am the nightmare of reading text messages. And if I don't reply in that instant, I forget. And then I move on to the next thing. Does that mean that I'm not engaged in the present moment because I'm always thinking of the next thing? I don't know. And then you kind of step into that. Well, I need to be more of that friend that steps up to ask after friends, to arrange a get together. I'm just so consumed with everything else that I'm having to manage that I just don't think I have that capacity. And that's kind of something that I'm reflecting on as I went into this year. Like, I have a view, right? Okay, get this in the diary, that in the diary, this, that, and everything else. But at the moment, my main focus is getting my children through their A-level exams, trying to create a home environment that is reasonably calm, that we can all be understanding of where everybody is to get to that last exam. And then the duo can take their foot off the brake a little bit. And that'll be them. And then this will be me. But at the moment, it just feels like life is lifing. The only kind of way of putting it. And as much as I've spoken about my children's activities finishing, so now it's jobs, trying to get into the job market, applications and things like that to take them through the summer. So I'm supporting in another way. I had to go and run an errand for one of my daughters last night, and I get to the location, and I wasn't able to do what I needed because no one had told me that they'd cancelled the meeting. So therefore, then that was a wasted trip. These things happen. I was like, okay, whatever. But I think we're all trying to stay afloat in life. And that can look different for different people. So for myself, entering into this 50th year, no, I want to get myself fit. I want to be well. I want to be healthy. So with that comes that kind of prioritizing fitness, the gym, walking. So, so I have a checklist. So walking my 12,000 steps a day, get into the gym at least twice a week, and maybe a run. That's 3 times. Ensuring that I have my vitamins and supplements. So I am fueling myself up. And that then goes on to the diet. And I say diet about trying to eat a little more intentional. I'm vegan. I've been vegan for the last 10 years. I'm going into my 11th year of being vegan. However, now in the supermarkets, you can buy so much vegan junk food that my diet is very much leaning towards the convenient side of it rather than the whole foods. So I have I have phases when I become more aware of the convenience aspects of it. I start then cooking using pulses, chickpeas, cannellini beans, lentils. I start using those, but it's a consistency. So obviously I can do a one pot meal and then I can freeze it down and things like that, or take it for lunch prep in the week. So trying to be a little more considerate around my diet and juggling. So alongside that, trying to fill my own cup as well. Finding what lights me up outside of work, outside of home, outside of the children. So should I approach nurturing my friendships like any other relationship? Because at the moment, my priority is going towards home, self, children. And I know everybody, and it's like, I know everybody else has got their home, got their children, if they have children, have got their work, has got their health. They all have that. And I get that. And I understand it. So that's why I'm less of a person that needs that contact from friends. I understand everyone's life's busy. Mine's busy. And it's not intentionally I am forgetting to contact or checking in with people as well. And I think that's something that I'm very aware of is that I'm so consumed by my own inner circle that if I don't see you on a day to day or have that kind of little reminder, you're there, but you're not in there. And that's something that I wanted. I went into this year with that intention of being a little more present with those relationships. And we're now in June, and I've kind of set myself a little filling up your own cup, little, I can't say challenge, like each month doing something for myself. Last month, I went to the theatre, which was quite ad hoc. Now, I could have contacted one of my friends and asked them if they wanted to go, but it was I booked on the Tuesday, I went on the Wednesday. It was quick turnaround. It wasn't thought through. It was just, okay, let me just do it. And I think because I'm so used to just doing things without consulting somebody as a partner, I just go off and do things. So I don't think about another person in that because I haven't had to for many, many years. So I just sort myself out. Now, that's not selfish. That's just doing what I've always done. And I realized that I want things to be different. But ultimately, in that moment, I was like, okay, I'll just get it by going on my own. As if the kind of challenge to myself was going to the theatre on my own instead of sending a few text messages out whilst I'm hovering over the book. Rather than trying to get someone to go with me, I just booked the ticket. And I've got another theatre date planned in with a friend, but that's not until October. So I've done a bit of forward planning, which is a bit unlike me because I don't tend to book things in advance. I think about things. I don't always put them into action and then kick myself because I haven't done that. So I do need to do a little retraining, a little kind of reprogramming where that is happening. and get things booked into the diary. So I realized that as well. So I'm kind of wrestling between these different dynamics at the moment. One where I'm trying to nurture relationships in preparation for my youngest two going to university, and me having to create an independent life separate to them, as well as managing three children's lives and my own interests. It feels a lot. So there must be other people that feel fatigued with nurturing relationships. So on that post, like I said, what I commented on, it was very much, it would be nice for someone else to step in, to lighten the load a little, to ease that pressure. But then is everyone feeling like that? Is everyone feeling like they want someone to come in and lighten the load? Some of the comments on the thread were quite interesting. They were like, okay, you need to, if you haven't heard off someone, then you need to cut them off. It takes two to be in a relationship. It can't just be down to the other person. Look, I'm not the best at organizing things. I can organize my family. I'm not the best of taking that responsibility for other people, as in other adults. I'm not very good at doing that. It's not something that's my bag. It's within my capabilities, but it's not something I like to take responsibility for. I like someone to take that from me. I can find, a space in my diary usually for something that's being planned, but then I'm not a planner. So I realize that's not one of my strong character things. And well, I'm not saying it's a flaw either. It's not one of my strengths. I hold my hands up to that. So is that better suited to somebody else who likes planning, who likes organizing, who has, I don't know, such and such act for booking this, booking that, and they do it and they're quite competent at it. So am I not empowering somebody to do that rather than me, oh, let's do this. I've seen this. But I did do that with that one time. But then that was like, I seen it, I told someone, they booked it. So, and then it took me an age to pay them back. But that was again, I don't do it in that moment. I think that's because I'm on to the next thing. So yeah, so throw a girl a lifeline. I am not the best at communicating. It doesn't mean I am or have ghosted you. If I ghosted you or I'm not turning up in your life, that's a different entity altogether because I'm just not in contact. But other people drop me a message. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, lovely to hear from you. But I realize that I need to reply to. I've got some messages to reply to as well, even now as we speak. That I vaguely remember that it was a question and I never responded. But I also hope that people who know me, as in my friends, know that that's not an intentional avoidance. That's just my lifing. So I would be interested to know, is fatigue in friendships a thing? Or is it just life being busy? I would love to know